AI isn't necessarily going to take your job, but people who use it fluently and frequently will. I'm Jim VandeHei, CEO of Axios.
I'm Mike Allen, co-founder of Axios, and that's one of the big findings of a report for Anthropic, which makes Claude. There's an early adopter, almost survivorship bias. If you are AI fluent, like you're going to thrive.
Right. And I think at first, so people understand the Anthropic report, why we're fixated on that. Anthropic by far and away has the most business users on a day-to-day basis. They have the best data, the best visibility in how the technology is being used in real time. And one of the findings was that if you were early to AI and you're enthusiastic to AI, you become much more fluent in it, not necessarily to automate away your work, but you just understand how to use it for every dimension of your work. And what Anthropic warns is like, listen, you could have almost a new class warfare between the AI fluent and those that aren't.
Yeah. And this report spells out something that we intuited and sort of lived, and that is like how to make higher value use of AI. So in this Anthropic Economic Index report, they call it learning curves. And it shows that after people have used Claude for a while, after people are comfortable with Claude, that you start to use it more as a feedback loop, as a thought partner, as opposed to draft this email, make this slide deck.
Right. More augmentation than automation. And again, because that they're seeing how people are using it in real time, I do think it is probably the best possible glimpse you can get into real-time AI usage as it's being applied in a business context.
So behind the curtain, Anthropic wants us to use Claude, but this happens to be true. And this is something that we have been talking about here at Axios
Yeah.
for a long time, that we have this like sweet spot where these tools are out there. Like we have the chance to learn how to use them, get comfortable with them, get fluent in them before it hits us in the face, that you have to be able to use them. And so people who are using this time to get comfortable, to get fluent, to get skillful, to get deft are going to be way, 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 way ahead of their peers.
I have found that the more you figure out how to use it for one thing, how to structure a question, how to ask it to ask you questions, how to make sure that you're kind of offsetting any sycophancy or any just kind of telling you what you want to hear.
Oh, come on. You like having it suck up to you.
No, I hate that about it. I like the ruthless pragmatism. But once you figure out how to do that, then it works across every domain. And that's what I think the report is showing, is that once you learn how to interact with it, almost every part of me being a CEO, I can find different use cases where it's helpful. I don't think it's going to be a new gym. I don't think I'm going to lose my job from it. But I do actually think if I weren't AI obsessive and hopefully AI pretty darn fluent, I probably might be out of a job 2 or 3 years from now. And I think that's how I need to look at it. You need to look at it. We all need to look at it.
Jim, this is a way to operationalize what we've been saying in this company for 2 years, which is we ask every Axios colleague from the day one employee to Jim, the CEO. We say, like, your job is to be the world's leading expert in how AI can be a force multiplier in your role. Whatever you do for Axios, be the world's leading expert in how AI can help you do that better and more effectively. That's a way to be confident about AI, because I think people are AI leery and
AI scared.
AI worried. And figuring out how you can use it, how it can make you sharper, smarter, faster, more productive, then suddenly you're like, AI is opportunity. I don't need to be scared of it. It actually can be part of my superpower.
And there's another layer to the Anthropic report where, like, if you're worried about your job, there are definitely tasks you should be very, very worried about. It showed that just in a very short period, the number of companies that are using Claude specifically to figure out sales leads and new sales pitches doubled. And so think if you're a BDA, we have BDAs here whose whole job
We have a couple in my family.
Right. You have a couple. So we know a lot of people whose job it is to figure out, like, what are new companies that we can go and pitch and how should we pitch them? If you're not using AI as an assistant to the work that you're doing, that's crazy. But you can see right now your peers are doing that.
AI makes you an Olympic athlete. Higher, faster, stronger.
The White House last week released its AI report. And I will say Congress is at least starting to debate the implications of artificial intelligence, but it's still very much focused on should we regulate, especially at the state level, or not? And can we possibly allow China to beat us to AI? Whereas what this report shows and what we've seen is there's just a much more immediate conversation that needs to be had, which is what happens when certain tasks and certain jobs go away quite quickly, and when you have this sort of gap between AI fluency and a lack of AI fluency. Like that seems to be the thing that's going to hit the job market first, and it's the thing that gets the least amount of tension on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, no, this idea makes AI very real. The most of what's out there is very abstract, and I can tell you from our conversations, most policymakers, it's pretty abstract to them, like they think it's for someone else. Whereas you're not going to stop a revolution or a jobs disruption, but you can empower yourself. You can empower your teams. You can empower your family, your organization. That's the lesson of this report. And it's positive. It's not something to be scared of or to be warned about. It's like, here's this gift. The tools are basically free. Take the gift.
Well, Anthropic does frame it a little bit in terms of like there is a downside risk to this, right? That you could just end up with another form of inequality of the people who really understand how to master AI across multiple domains versus those that don't. But it still comes down to whether you're optimistic about it or you're pessimistic about it. It just is what it is, and you kind of got to do it.
It could be a new divide, and this is how to be on the right side of the divide.